Over the past few months, I have seen numerous comparisons of certain characters within television, movies, and video games that are described as haunting the narrative. This genre of character was no stranger to me, as I was obsessed with the video game Life is Strange in my early tween years. And I can't lie, I still am obsessed, and I have been patiently waiting for the TV show that was announced in 2017, so still waiting for updates on that. To give a quick summary, the game follows Max Caulfield, a teen with an eye for photography, as she learns that she can rewind time after saving a girl from being killed in her school bathroom, who she then later finds out was her childhood best friend Chloe.
Max? Chloe?
And I guess she didn't recognize her because having blue hair really changes how somebody looks. A central aspect of the original game is the character of Rachel Amber, another teen who was friends with Chloe. Rachel's missing persons poster can be seen near the very start of the game, and graffiti about her litters the school and in the school bathroom, and Max even comments on her missing poster as well. In regard to Rachel Amber, Max writes in her journal, quote, "Where is Rachel Amber? Even though Blackwell Academy feels so remote and tranquil, you still get sad reminders of reality, like missing persons posters literally wallpapered all over campus. I already know her name through osmosis. I guess she was a popular student here and vanished 6 months ago." Rachel has a great picture on her missing persons poster. She looks poised and pretty, like a model. Rachel Amber is central to the storyline of the first Life is Strange game, without ever even appearing in it physically at all. Well, mostly never appearing. When I first started seeing these compilation-style edits of characters like Rachel Amber from Life is Strange and Laura Palmer from Twin Peaks and Jackie Taylor from Yellow Jackets, a few question marks began to shuffle about in my head. Why are all of these characters female? Why are they all teenagers? Why do they all serve the same purpose? There are very few male characters that I have come across who seem to fall into the same character archetype of haunting the narrative. The two most popular ones that come to mind would be Mikey from The Bear and Joel in The Last of Us, specifically in The Last of Us Part 2. There are, however, distinct differences between how these male characters are used for the plot compared to the female characters that I have previously discussed. The male characters that haunt the narrative do so in a way that serves for character development, while the female characters serve as plot development and make ambiance for the plot to further continue. It is very difficult to look past the societal interpretations of gender that are present within these characters, whether produced intentionally or unintentionally. In Paisley Perrault's Sex is as Sex Does, she writes, "If there were no possibility of anomaly for infectious or deviant cases, there would be no need for a classification system." This classification system is exactly why we see female characters structured in this way. We see them in death in a way that they cannot deviate from the societal structures that have been put upon them. And this line of reasoning is directly explained and thought through with Edgar Allan Poe's quote saying, "The death, then, of a beautiful woman is unquestionably the most poetical topic in the world." When women in television and video games are fixed and constrained by the binds of death, they have no plausible way to deviate as a human, and therefore they can stay in this realm of limbo where they are subjected to submissiveness and beauty for eternity, basically. However, this constraint seems to only apply to women who haunt the narrative after death, as men such as Mikey from FX's Hulu show The Bear evolve with passing plot lines that positively benefit the general narrative and its main characters within the show. Mikey's character struggled with addiction prior to his suicide in the show, but this is not some secret that is shameful when brought to light, unlike when compared to similar circumstances and conversations with addiction that surrounded characters like Laura Palmer and Rachel Amber. When addiction is used as a plot vehicle for these teenage girls that haunt a narrative, their symbolic nature is one of perceived innocence, and with characters like Rachel Amber, they have their innocence almost retroactively redacted, which gives this dark turn of their symbolism as a sort of soul trapped and condemned. As I previously discussed on a deeper level the character of Rachel Amber, I want to now discuss a male character who seemingly haunts the narrative. With The Last of Us, you may ask yourself, well, doesn't Joel's daughter Sarah serve as a similar haunting the narrative character? My answer shortly is, well, no, at least not in the same way Joel does. Sarah dies at the very start of the game, and similarly in the show. While her death does in some way serve as a shift for Joel's motivations, I would say it more evidently marks an overall death of innocence within the realm of the game. Once again, serving the idea that women serve as this omniscient and moldable view. Sarah's death reminded me a lot of the opening scene of The Walking Dead in the pilot episode, where Rick kills a walker who was once a young girl. This is the first kill/death present on the show, symbolically setting the tone for the rest of the show to come. This brings me back to Sarah, as she evidently serves as a symbolic end to innocence and also simply creates a feeling of untrusting towards the narrative. Since in the game you begin playing as Sarah, it is hard to see her death coming so soon. When comparing this to Joel's death in the games, his death is by linear cause and effect. I'm not saying that I agree with Abby's actions. His death is caused by his own actions. His actions driven from the ideas of a need to protect Ellie and therefore, blinded by anger, lead to him being beaten to death by Abby at the start of The Last of Us Part 2 or The Last of Us Season 2. His death leads to the main plot of the second game, with Ellie going to find Abby to seek revenge and Abby trying to figure out who killed her father at the end of the first game. To put it simply, Joel's anger that led to his death seeps into Ellie and the narrative of The Last of Us, with Ellie's goal becoming an anger-fueled revenge tale. As much as I love Joel as a character, his act of haunting the narrative in The Last of Us Part 2 is destructive, as Ellie begins to lose herself and bits of herself that she took from Joel in the first place. The way in which Joel haunts the narrative also impacts Ellie as a character, not so much the overall mood or aura of the game compared to before his death happened. In Foucault's Right of Death and Power Over Life, he discusses how life has evolved to hold a certain power due to its direct relations with death. While life is a given basic for humanity, he says, quote, "The old power of death that symbolized sovereign power was now carefully supplanted by the administration of bodies and the calculated management of life. The way power is executed has shifted to entail the withholding of life itself." Observatory power has replaced many aspects of physical power, as it has proven to be much more powerful in several different sectors, including expressions of gender and sexuality. The haunting characters that loom over the plots I have discussed directly link to this idea of an observatory power dynamic, and how it differs between male and female characters. The male characters directly use observatory power dynamics, Foucault describes, as they directly impact the narrative without actually being there. The observatory nature of female characters in comparison serve as an almost foggy, ambient entity that creates a setting for events within the story to take place. In The Last of Us Part 2, Joel's death near the start of the game looms over the rest of the game and is a direct driver of Ellie's actions up until the end, even where she decides not to kill Abby. In a direct comparison, Laura Palmer in Twin Peaks, specifically focusing on the use of her death in the pilot episode, serves as an example of how the setup of such a death differs from that of her male counterparts in other media. At a very baseline level, the death of a beloved teenage girl sets the tone for the rest of the show's plot, as it does in Yellow Jackets with Jackie Taylor's death marking the end of their innocence while in the wilderness. While Laura remains a driver in the show, her presence does not serve the same direct impact that Mikey and Joel do. Her haunting is almost just that. What comes of her story is encompassed by revelations of her past. She does not truly evolve in death the way that Joel does. In Diana Taylor's Disappearing Acts, there are two specific understandings that I want to draw upon that relate directly to this difference in gendered writing. One of these is the way that archival writings hold such power and how the direct portrayals of atrocities are so significant. Taylor draws upon examples from Argentina's war, in which torture and other methods of violence are subjected to gender. In this sense, feminization is used as the lowest form of degradation. Deviation is being weaponized as well in the form of torture. When torture and other aspects of violence are subjected to the constraints of gender, it highlights the impactful nature of writing dead characters. In the deaths of Joel and Mikey, they leave their anger and their actions at the root of the story for the other characters. The deaths of Rachel Amber and Laura Palmer serve to reveal that they were not perfect societal standards, even though they presented themselves to be. This kind of concludes that deviation is some sort of crime punishable by death. Another aspect of Taylor's readings that is crucial to the aspects of this analysis is in regard to regulation. Regulation is much easier to do in death, as you retroactively can simply adjust anything as you so please. This is why the comparison of how characters are portrayed after death is so crucial, because of the way that death is indefinitive and not defined directly by gender. It is truly one of the only certain occurrences to mark all life, and yet somehow it is still subjected to the constraints of societal constructions of gender when we analyze the differences between these female and male characters within the same archetype. The questions and topics I sought to answer and analyze were how death is written into a story to serve the narrative, and why deaths of women, specifically teenaged girls, happen to be the greatest topic of discussion in these realms. Even with all of this analysis, it is still a difficult question with no clear answer, as every writer obviously has their own inspirations, motivations, life experiences that are put into the baseline characteristics of all of these characters. What is truly at the root of this question, however, is how the construction of gender and its societal boundaries is a near impossible thing to escape, whether we agree with its confines or not. The world does not care if you don't agree, in all honesty, as even in death, we are still held to the same standards set by the observatory power exerted upon us. Perhaps one day there will be a character who is not confided to stereotypical borders, but this is as easy a statement to execute as it is to remove all institutional sexism from the world. But where would we be without optimism? It is up to the writers to deviate, and in that sense, wish to deviate from the stereotypical structures that are all too present and all too repeating in media. Perhaps a first step is that we can start with removing the negativity surrounding deviation. It's hard to outline a concrete plan as these structures run deep, but perhaps this may be eye-opening for some, and that is truly all I can really hope for.